Ayo, what you cooking?
Welcome to Lend Me a Fiver podcast, where we have conversations with people who have had successful journeys. Make sure you share, subscribe, and follow. We also welcome comments. Kind of tell us what you want to see, like tell us what you want to hear, tell us about people you might want to have on here, and like the video so we know that how the people feel about it. And there's more to come. As I always mention, every time we do this is we've got regular content coming out, and the only way you're going to find out is if you subscribe and you kind of hit your notifications so you make sure you got those and you hear about them first. I want to welcome today's guest, Nedge. He owns the brand Makcaris. I think I pronounced that right, but you're going to correct me. Correct me later. And he's a successful entrepreneur. He's got a diverse multi-million-pound portfolio. And my understanding is you started as a criminal lawyer in the city, and you left that life to go into business. 15 years later, you've developed a lot, and my understanding is your businesses now include restaurants, cafes, ice cream parlours, fish and chip shops, bars, clubs, property investment and development, and also wholesale gelato. So like, I don't even know, right, how you even have the time to manage all of that and even be here today. And also, I think my understanding is that you also came from quite humble beginnings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll be good to know like how that journey started. Tell us a bit about kind of that whole journey and how you kind of got to the point today.
Yeah, so I mean, firstly, you got me out of my comfort zone.
Okay,
this isn't what I do. Like, so just so you understand, I work together with my brother. We're partners together in the business. We kind
Is he older or younger?
He's younger.
Okay.
So he's 3 years younger than me. We've been on this journey together, and he's the PR man of our business. So
Okay.
yeah, this now I know how he feels.
Okay,
So it's kind of we've swapped situations, but very beginning, and I didn't want to say this because it's a bit of a cliche, but the beginning starts with Dad coming to the UK back in the early 70s. You know, it's the typical story from Cyprus. Typical story of the guy that comes to the UK with £5 in his pocket and a dream.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it's a cliche, and I know that the magnitude of people that you speak to will say the same thing. But that's how it all started. So he came, and at that time, there was kind of this belief that the UK the pavements were lined with gold. You know, money grew on trees.
It's always the way, man.
There was always that belief. It's not until you actually get here that you realise
it's council tax.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So yeah, so he came from humble beginnings. He came over here, and at the time, everyone that was coming were going straight into the restaurant industry. They were the main employers of people coming from abroad, obviously, to try and live out their dreams. So he came here, and that's what he did. He went into work in various restaurants around the country until he realised that he didn't just want to be a worker. He kind of had the inspiration from the beginning that he wanted to own his business, own his own business, and develop his own little empire. So fair play
And what do you
him.
think gave him that?
Do you know, I think it's just within himself, and I feel this in me as well. He didn't feel like he was a worker. Like, he didn't feel like that. And I have that in myself. So, I mean, it's a crazy example, but if you remember back in Scarface, at the beginning of Scarface, you know, Al Pacino comes over, and then he says, it throws off the towel, and he says, "I ain't no dishwasher." You know, you just have that inside you.
Yeah.
And he had that. I suppose some of us are manual, some of us are more, we work more from the brain. And that his mindset was more of, let's go and let's see what we can achieve. So
That makes sense.
he worked in the restaurants, he put in the hard graft, the 18-hour days, earned the money, and his dream was obviously to have his own restaurant, which he achieved within a few years. He met my mum, married my mum, and I was very young when he bought his first restaurant. So as the baby, I grew up in a playpen in the corner of the restaurant. You know, they were grafting, I was watching, they were grafting 18 hours a day in the restaurant, and I called it child prison, baby prison. You know, I was in this playpen.
But technically you're learning.
Well, I was still very, very young. So although I don't remember much about it, I do remember the progression from the playpen to then coming out of the playpen. And what could I do? It's not an easy environment for a very young child. But what he used to do was he used to stack up the tins of baked beans, and I'd be stood behind the till. So I'd be ringing in all the, you know, as people come to pay in the restaurant, I'd be taking the money on my stacks of baked beans. But obviously, as you say, whatever situation you're thrown into, you learn, don't you? You absorb and you get an understanding. So The best example I can give is when we're babies, as we grow up, we naturally learn to speak the English language. We're not taught the English language, although obviously we are at school, but we can speak it before we get to school. Yeah. And this is much the same. Like growing up in that environment, I got to understand the industry, but without actually having the training or the teaching. It's a way of life. It just becomes natural.
Yeah.
So obviously Dad worked for many, many years, and what he realized was that industry is hard graft. Yeah. So he wanted better for his children. So from humble beginnings, I was private school educated. So all of the money that he was owning was then going into my school fees. Yeah, so we had no privileges. We didn't have anything like that. But the money was straight into my son's education and my brother's education. That's how he saw it. He wanted to save his children from what he had to go through to get to where he was.
Good investment.
You know, in 7-8 years, he was at the point where he could. And don't get me wrong, there's hustle along the way. I mean, I'm not 100% sure of this, but I hear whispers that the headmaster of the local private school was a customer in the restaurant. So he did his little deal, to get me and my brother in there. But we had no privileges. All of the money went into paying school fees so that his children could have this better life that he kind of said. So,
and where was this restaurant? Was it in London?
So the first one was in Dorking, which is in Surrey.
Surrey, okay. And is that where you kind of raised them?
So obviously, the roots were in the restaurant. We lived above the restaurant. Okay. So it was literally up, down from the restaurant, upstairs, downstairs, literally going upstairs purely to sleep. Then back downstairs to my little child prison, as I call it, and then off to school. So Mum would then take us to school in the morning, collect us in the evening. Private school has longer days, so school started at 8, finished at 6 in the evening. So we grew up in that environment. But what I saw from my father was that it was all about the hard work. It was all about putting in the hours. I mean, as a child, did I really know my dad? No. He was working. He was working. And my love at the time was football. I had this passion for football. Every child's dream was to become a professional footballer, and that was mine as a child. Yeah. And the first real experience of how I got into my father's mindset was I begged him for weeks and weeks and weeks, months. Dad, I want to join a football club, a Sunday league football club.
Was he a football fan or?
He loved football. So he had played semi-professional in Cyprus. He had played at a very high level in Cyprus. I understand he played for the Cyprus national team as well at the age of 17 or maybe even 16. So he loved football. He had a passion for it, but he'd come to the UK for a better life. And at that time, there wasn't the money in football that there is now. And he was dismissive of it, and I went on and on and on so much. Like, people that know me know that's me. I always go on until I get what I want. So
persistence,
yeah, he didn't want to take the time off of work because he would have to take me on a Sunday to football or whatever else. He didn't have that time. Then eventually one weekend, he says, right, get in the car. We drove around and we found a football club, Fetcham Park United Football Club, they were called, just down the road from Cobham's training ground. And he took me there and he said, go on. And he said, when I spoke to some managers and my age group were playing a match, and he said, go on. And he said, go and play with these boys. So there was a match going on. The managers threw me into the match, and I was banging in goals left, right, and centre. Like, if you ask me, I was Ronaldo that day. I was much better than any of those. So you
were good. You were training.
I don't know, but I know that day I was very, very special. I was, honestly, and the match ended after about 40 minutes. I've scored all these goals and I come off pit boosted. Like, I'm so happy. I've found my team. I'm playing football. And my dad just looked at me and he said to me, what a waste of my time. I was like, what do you mean? He said, all this time you've been going on and on and on about football. He said, I thought you were good. I said, Dad, what do you mean? Like, I just scored all these goals. I'm best. He said, no, he said, it's not good enough. And I thought, right, this guy, he wants more, and that's when the kind of drive, like the push from him. So
he's instilled that in you.
Always, exactly that, to always aim and to be the best, and I instill that in my children now. So I have 3 young boys, or 2 16-year-olds and a 10-year-old, and I instill that in them now. And people think I'm harsh, but it's only what I've seen from my father. It's the constant push. And I say to my kids as well, in front of other people, I say, like, second place is the first loser, and people look at me and they're like, right, you're really hard on your children. Push, and I'm like, I am, but that's how my dad was on me, and I haven't come out too bad, So I was really disappointed in his attitude, but at the time I realised this guy's going to push, So he pushed, and then it was pure on. I don't know if it was because he wanted me to follow education and he was trying to put me off of the football, but it worked, whatever it was, you know. And at the time there was the Panini sticker books. I don't know if you remember back then. We all used to collect them. And once I get something in my head, I'm on it. So I was going to be a professional footballer. I got the Panini sticker book, and alongside there's a stadium, picture of the manager, and then the teams, and then it had the address of the club. And I handwrote a letter to every club in the Panini sticker book asking them for a trial, because I had belief in myself. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
So the manager.
What age were you then?
I was about 8, 9.
Damn.
I was young. Yeah. But it's what I wanted, and I knew I was good. Like I was gonna prove my dad wrong. Yeah. So I wrote to every. It had the stadium's address, so I sent a letter to every stadium address, to the manager at every stadium. I didn't get a single reply, not a single one. Yeah. But I didn't give up.
I'm there thinking, oh wow, this is a move.
Not a single reply.
Wow. Okay.
But it's you know, but I didn't give up. I still carried on playing my football, and ultimately, years later, I realised myself that I wasn't good enough. Yeah, and Dad was right. Education. He was right to have pushed it. So,
but it sounds like he wanted you to go a different route to business, though.
Exactly that. He didn't want me or my brother to be in the hard graft of the restaurant industry. Okay. Yeah, he wanted the standard thing: lawyer, doctor, accountant.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah, my son's going to be a lawyer, doctor, accountant,
lawyer.
Standard.
It's just like what your parents want for you, isn't it?
I look at my children now, and I'm like, I would
get
love
that
you
job,
to be.
You get the job security. You're guaranteed to at least be above average.
You do, but there's another side to that, and I'm going to get to that, because what happened was, obviously, Dad's pushing. So I'm like, I can't stand the sight of blood, so there's no way I'm going to be a doctor. Accounts are just boring. Yeah. So what else is there? Lawyer. There was the film A Few Good Men. It's like one of my favourite films of all time.
Suits is my go-to. If you want to make law seem like the high life, you watch Suits.
Suits is brilliant. Suits is brilliant. It's
like you just brilliant. Think, this is the life.
It looks good, though, doesn't
Harvey's
it?
the man.
Doesn't it look good? Yeah. And I knew nothing about the law, but it looked good on TV. I used to like the bill as well. So there's all these legal things. So okay, let's make Dad happy. So let's go and study law. So study law, put a bit into it, go get GCSEs, A-levels, College of Law, qualify. Yeah. So then I get a job in a high street practice in North London. And I've gone there, and like after the first few days, I'm like, this is boring.
But you're doing criminal law, though.
No, because originally when you go in as a trainee, you have to try every area of law.
Okay.
So I've done a bit of immigration, I've done a bit of housing, benefits, welfare, bit of matrimonial, and there are people, I'll never forget, like a couple arguing over who's going to keep the slippers.
Was it slippers?
Like,
literally?
Yeah, like matrimonial is. And I'm like, what have I done?
That's because there was no houses for them to argue over.
Honestly, like they've dealt with a house, and now they're going down to the toilet roll holder, and I'm like, and then
petty.
So I'm petty, bit conveyancing, boring. I'm sat behind a desk from morning till night. This isn't me. Like, and I'm thinking, what have I done? Then one day, one of the partners calls me in, and she gets me to work on some of her criminal law cases, and all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah. This is exciting. This is interesting, yeah? So she's getting the calls. She's on call at the police station. So I'm like, can I come with you? Very, very keen. I want to learn because I found something that interests me. So she's doing the police station visits. I'm going. We're doing long hours now. We're working long hours, doing the police station visits and everything else. And after a while, she realised that I'd clocked onto what was going on and how this worked very, very quickly. So she's sending me to represent clients at the police station on my own, it was unusual at the time for a trainee to be doing.
Wow, so you are but this is we might as well take a pause though to look at the system we've got in this country. You were basically a trainee, and you were going for people that had just been arrested.
Yes.
You were their legal counsel.
Yes, after 6 months with 6 months experience.
So that goes to show you though, like obviously I hope no criminals are watching this. But you need money for a lawyer because, I'm not being funny, you didn't know enough about the game at that point to represent anyone at that point.
Do you know what? I felt better at it than anyone else.
So you did personally,
because with me there's this addictive personality. So once I get into something, I have to nail it. Yeah. So
100%.
I've seen criminal law.
Yeah.
I'm reading.
But if we just remove you from the situation, though, if we just look at the system.
Yep.
They were ready to send. So, for example, someone could be up for a trial for theft or whatever it may be, and maybe they may not even be guilty, but they haven't got money for a lawyer, and they're sending a trainee.
No, because there's the duty solicitor scheme, yeah? So once you're registered on that, the police will call a duty solicitor who's registered, experience and everything else. What's happening in this scenario is they're calling, my partner's got loads of clients, yeah? So the clients are calling up, and then she's saying to me, Nedge, can you cover this one? Can you cover this one? So I'm turning up at the police station. They don't know I'm a trainee. The customer,
Okay,
the client,
yeah, but I'm pretty certain most
yeah?
people do that. Most firms do that. I'm pretty certain. That's probably standard practice. If
I
we're being
don't know.
honest.
I don't know.
It's hard to say, but yeah.
I'm going in and I'm enjoying it. So I'm really, really enjoying representing. And the police station stage is the most important stage in any criminal trial because that's where you set out your defence. You know, you kind of lay the groundwork for the trial. So I'm going in, doing my bit and coming away. Now, before I know it, I'm getting calls now from people that are getting arrested because they've told their friends and their friends are ringing me, Nedge, getting calls from the police station, Nedge, such and such has asked for you. Like, honestly, in a very short space of time, I became very, very busy in criminal law.
From a personal perspective or business?
From both.
Okay, so you were doing your own work?
I'm doing my own work as a solicitor. Obviously, I'm working for the firm, but the calls are coming to me personally, yeah? So I'm ringing up my partner. Is it okay? I've just got a call from X. Can I go in? You know? She's loving it because she's not having to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go and represent in the police stations or whatever else. So I'm doing all these calls, going to the police station and slowly over... but again, in the
how did them bills get paid?
Which ones?
Those bills, for example, to the law firms, the government pays them?
Yeah, so I would go back, fill in a form, send it to the government and the government sends the money in.
Right.
So I'm earning my wage now. I'm earning my wage because I'm doing all these... And I was enjoying it so much. Any call I was taking, yeah? And then all of a sudden the offences are getting more and more serious. More and more serious. And people have clocked on that my name's getting out there and I speak Turkish. So within the Turkish community, we do kind of use our own a lot. And I can speak the language. So in North London in particular, which is where the high street firm was based, Turkish clients, they're into high level drugs, heroin predominantly, yeah. So they're getting caught doing whatever they do. They're calling me, and I'm going in, and before I know it, I'm representing on some of the highest profile drug cases within the country. They're all central London central London based courts, and it's getting serious. Then, like, obviously, you're getting a call for a murder. I'm still a trainee, remember?
Yeah. And sorry, just 2 seconds. Where did you study?
Where did I study? I studied at Kingston University.
Oh, Kingston. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Then went on to the College of Law.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so Kingston was lit though. And it was the works and
the works. That's right.
and okay, cool. Yeah.
That's right.
That was literally the spot. If you just wanted like closest uni to London, where it was like a bit of a party town.
Closest uni to London. I never wanted to leave home as well. I didn't want to. I didn't want to live away from home. So
but you're having a good time as a trainee though. Like
I'm loving it.
Most solicitors don't have that their whole career.
Absolutely loving it. Yeah, I'm getting the high profile cases. They're coming through, and all of a sudden now the top barristers, because the solicitor instructs the barrister to represent the trial. So now I'm getting top barristers making contact with me because they want my work. Yeah, I'm in the big cases, on the 9-month trials, whatever else. I'm in those. They want to be in those as well. They get paid big money for those. So before I know it, I'm getting wine, dined by all these top barristers, Queen's Counsel barristers. Like, these are top level barristers, which most solicitors would never even instruct in their life. They're friends of mine. Yeah. So we're doing our stuff, and cases are coming in, big trials. Honestly, loving it. Then what happens is you kind of form a relationship with the client, and these aren't the kind of clients you really want to form relationships with, if I'm honest with you. But I was young, blinded by all the dinners, taking you out to the best restaurants, and so you kind of get pulled into that lifestyle. But before you know it, you're drinking, you're out every night. I had a wife at home, and it was ruining my home life. I was out 18 hours a day. I'd get home, the phone might ring, back to the next police station. You're working long hours, and you don't even realise it, but you're falling into that kind of that lifestyle that isn't real. It's all make-believe, but you're eating in the best places, drinking every day. Like, honestly, I was turning into an alcoholic. I could easily go out to lunch and do 10, 12 pints of beer. That's never been me, you know? Getting used to the top restaurants and that. So what happened then was, where I was involved in all the major trials within London, the city firms are taking notice. They're like, what's this kid doing? Like, got this young boy representing. How's he getting all of this work? Well, it's predominantly the Turkish influence, but also news spread. So I then got approached, still as a just finished my traineeship, got approached by the biggest criminal city law firm. They said, come and work for us. Like, this
Who's that firm?
Do I mention names?
I mean, you can just for the like.
Yeah, so the firm was called Garstangs.
Okay.
Garstangs, right opposite the High Courts of Justice on the Strand.
Okay.
Yeah. So they spoke to me and they said, "We'd like you to come over to us." It's like a move to Manchester City, really. You know, from little high street North London firm. Okay. You know, I had to. So moved to them, bringing them the work.
So the money must have been decent as well at the point.
No, so that's what I was going to say now. So I'm bidding them 250, 300,000 a year. It's crime, remember. So you're on a lower hourly wage compared to all the other stuff. So bidding them 250, 300,000 pound a year. I think I'm on about 30, 35 grand.
Is it?
Yeah, exactly. So working, but there's no real reward the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So year passes, 2 years, my billing's gone up, working harder, enjoying it, but I'm not earning money. Yeah. So I thought, hold on, take a look back. Dad, in 15, 20 years he's been here, from nothing, he's got a lovely house, he's got a lovely lifestyle. I've been used to nice things through my father. Now I'm working like a dog, and I can't even afford to buy a proper decent house. I can't afford this, I can't afford that. And something clicked in my head and I was like, do you know what? Dad had it right the first time. Go graft, but graft for yourself. And I called the partner, literally it was just a decision I made on the spot. I called the partner, I said, I need to talk to you. I said, I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. He's like, what do you mean you're leaving? Like, where are you going? I said, I'm leaving the law. I'm going back to my dad's restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, why? I want to earn money. I want to earn some proper money, and I want to create a future for my wife and children. You know, I'm not going to do that here. And what really sunk home was, in 15 years' time, what am I going to leave to my kids working here in the city for a law firm? There's nothing there, is there? I'll retire. What do I give them?
Pension.
There's nothing. There's nothing. So the partner said, he was very cool about it because he said, do you know what? He said, you got your head screwed on. He said, at this moment in time, he said, I should now offer you partnership. Remember, I'm 23, 24 years old, being offered partnership in a big city firm. And he said, but I'm not going to offer you partnership, he said, because that's not going to change your predicament. You want more. You want something to leave to your children. I said, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I walked out of the office and I went home, told the wife what I'd just done. Oh my God. And I thought, I've got to have the conversation with Dad now. Went, told my dad. Like, oh my God. But
I guess the question is, what you should have maybe had the conversation before you made the move.
I knew they'd change my mind.
Okay, fair.
They would change. Like, you crazy. You studied for all these years. I wasn't worried about the time I'd wasted because I'd learned a lot about life, business. I'd met people, made contacts, you know.
Yeah, because I was actually going to ask you, but I guess we can get to that later. So you get to your father's business now.
Pretty much. Like I'm no fool. I'd seen what was going on with Dad, and he had got to 50, 55. He was at the point where he was ready to retire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had to sell it to him. Yeah. So I went and I said, Dad, I just quit my job. What do you mean? Obviously, I had to calm him down, like the shock of all of that. But I said, you're retiring. This is the perfect opportunity for you to now hand over the reins to myself and my brother. My brother he wasn't in a great job. He was working in an office somewhere on silly money, less than me. And like Dad's done well, and he was selling his bits and pieces. So he actually, at the time, I think he had 2 restaurants left, one in Orpington,
okay,
and one in Herne Bay. And that was it. He would sold them all off. He was at the point of retiring. So I said, now just hand over the reins to me and my brother. You know, my brother he'd already gone in with my dad a few weeks before. And I think that may even have been a catalyst in my head, because I thought, he's in there, he's going to earn money, like he's going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get left behind here. Yeah? So I said, listen, you've done it for my brother. What about me? I said, take me on board as well. Look after me. And then let's make this thrive. Let's make what you've got thrive. And he was cool. He said, yes, come along. And I think he said to me, I'm going to put you on about £300 a week. I was like, whoa, like, I'm gone to even less money now. Yeah? But I think in the back of their minds, they always thought I'd go back to the law. That's like, they're like, I was
so
just having,
a bit of a like, let's just see if he can really.
He's having a bit of a midlife crisis here, this boy.
Yeah.
So, let's see see if we can put the pressure on and get him out. And to be fair, my brother went, and my brother was running the restaurant in Herne Bay, which was doing well. I was up in one in Orpington, and yeah, that was it. Like that's all I had for £300 a week and a restaurant in Orpington. That was it. So obviously got together with my brother then, and we kind of had a strategy which was to develop open restaurants. We're going to open them and whatever else.
So were they doing well, those restaurants, in order for you to get the capital to...
They were okay, but
So when you say okay, like will you live in a comfortable life? For example, after your expenses, you were taking home
not
a decent
really,
profits.
not really, because I was on my £300-400 a week.
Oh, still,
it was.
you stayed on that. Okay.
Yeah, that was my wage. That's Dad's way. Like, you're gonna go and make your own money from this. Like, he will support, but you earn your own way in life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you made a decision. You want to come into this, right? You've come into it, but the restaurant is his. You know, you come work for me, and then see what can you do? He's testing. Yeah. So he's put my brother into a very busy restaurant down in Herne Bay, but my brother's on a wage. It's Dad's, ultimately. He kept control, yeah? And he's like, show me what you can do. So me and my brother, property comes up for sale in auction, and my brother has committed that he wants to buy this, and he's going to turn it into a restaurant, whatever else. So I've gone in with him, and cut a very long story short, and I don't like talking about it because it's negativity, but it was a nightmare. We opened it up originally. At first, it was doing well. Yeah, we was turning over money. We was earning a little bit between us. It was all good. But then we realised we're working days in the cafes. We're working evenings in this restaurant. We're doing 18-hour days. Neither of us are seeing our families. It becomes a slog. We try to get it staff run. The expenses overweigh what we're bringing in. Anyway, over time, we're losing money. Over about an 18-month period, the restaurant just died.
When you say died, as in you had to shut it down?
Well, to the point where literally I'm going to work because I know I need to open the doors, but I know I'm not going to have any customers that day. Yeah?
And what was that? Customer service? What was the driver behind that?
It was customer service. We just got tired. We were tired because we were trying to do it all ourselves between me and him. And yeah, we were working days in the cafes, Dad's cafes, then doing this in the evening, and it just got too much.
So actually, I've got a question about that. So are you very hands-on? Because there's a lot of people that are so hands-on in their business that they feel like they don't want to give the reins to anyone else to help run it, right? And there's 100%. Others that are like, I'm the ideas. If I get the best people if I pay the best people, this is going to thrive, right? So 100%. What are your thoughts on both of those?
100%. We're very hands-on. So we believe in the mentality that if you're not there, you're going to lose money. Yeah, you need to be in control of your own business. We're very, very controlling.
But that changes. Is that the most scalable model?
It changes, yeah. It changes because initially, yeah, if I pay the best chef and I pay the best waiter and I pay the best this, that, what's left for me at the end? Mm-hmm. I want to take the most I can take out of that business at the outset. Yeah. Later on in life, you buy your freedom. Don't get me wrong. Your model's right, but that's for later on when you're earning the money and you then buy your freedom by being able to step away and pay more. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But at the outset, you put in the graft, you earn the money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you bring it all back to yourself. That's how I saw it, because money makes money. You need to earn to develop. You need to earn to grow. Yeah. You can't have it all. You can't say, I'm going to start out in business. I'm going to work 6 hours a day and I'm going to make loads of money. It doesn't happen that way. Mm-hmm. It's through hard graft. Dad showed it with his 18-hour days, and the development of his business. We came in and we bought into this place. As I say, initially when we opened up, it wasn't taking much money. The first restaurant we went into wasn't taking much money, but not much it was taking. So I think we were taking about £6,000-7,000 a week. We were only expending a couple. We earned some money now. Yeah. But as that dropped, our expenditure, then we started getting staff in because we couldn't physically do all the hours ourselves. Our expenditure overtook our income. Yeah. So we're running at a loss. We're then at the point where, because we're not going anymore, the staff have run the business into the ground. We can't afford decent staff. So
are you letting people go? Or
we're letting people go. We're trying to do it ourselves. It was just a flop, and the whole feeling of going somewhere and giving 10 hours of your day, 12 hours of your day, knowing you're going to come back not having made any money, is very demoralizing. Mm-hmm. Blew us away. Mm-hmm. Like, I've never felt so trapped in all of my life because I have to open those doors.
How was your partner at the time? Your wife, was she thinking, what the hell have you done?
Oh, I just had 2 twin boys, 2 little baby boys, and she's coming bringing them to the restaurant for me to see my own children. And it's a 60-mile drive as well, so it's an hour's drive there, hour's drive back. She's bringing the twins to me for me to see my own kids. So I've left the law supposedly for this better life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I got myself into? This it isn't easy. And like, Dad didn't want to bail us out. He let it go and let it go and let it go. So cut a very long story short, business went under. And at that point, we've had enough of this. Had enough of this restaurant game. It's not as easy as everything looks from the outside when you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, well, you know what's crazy is most stories I hear about the restaurant business, it's like they're mostly negative, right? I think 90% of them don't do that well.
It's very difficult.
I question why people even bother, right?
Honestly, you're quite right.
How did you turn it around though? How do you?
Okay, so we've gone back to the restaurant in Orpington. At the time, my dad had just done a deal to sell the one my brother was managing in Herne Bay. Mm-hmm. He flipped it nicely, made some really nice money. My dad did, on the flip of that one. And I'll explain what I mean by flip now, because we're just going to get to that, yeah? So, my brother's back in Orpington, I'm in Orpington. We're just deflated, man. We tried, we're tired. So I said, right, we're going to get into the property game. We got no money though. How I was ever thinking we were going to do this, I don't know. But then God works in mysterious ways, yeah? So my next door neighbour, he said, he's a developer, by the way. My next door neighbour's a developer. He said, I got a property.
It's the same next door neighbours today?
No.
Okay, yeah, at the time. Day, okay. Yeah.
So he said, I got a property that it's ripe for redevelopment. He said, come and have a look. So I thought, yeah, in Tunbridge. I don't know if you know Tunbridge, very affluent area, nice area. I'd never been there. So I said, all right, let's go. So me and my brother, we arranged a time. We drove down, met him at this property. And now, with the mindset and the brain that I have now, I would never have gone to see that property, because if he's a developer and he doesn't want to develop it, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to make any money? Clearly, there's no money in it, yeah? But at the time, it's an opportunity. Let's go have a look. Anyway, got there and realised that this was no normal redevelopment. Property was in a bad state. So again, deflated. We're driving away. I said to my brother, we turned onto come out the road and we're on Tunbridge High Street. I said to my brother, do a left. I said, just drive down this high street. Let me have a look. Because people are talking about Tunbridge. I said, let me just have a look at this high street. So he's done a left. We've gone over this little humpback bridge, train station on the left-hand side. I see this big building just past the train station, right at the beginning of the high street. On a roundabout, this is the hub of Tunbridge, I'm thinking. And I look at this building, I thought, wow, nice building. And I said, Molly's Cafe. I thought, Cafe. What a great location for a cafe. Mm-hmm. Train station. It ticked all of the boxes, because remember, I've grown up in this industry. I can see when it comes to cafes, that's my game.
Yeah, of course.
So I said to my brother, what a great location. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, we drove, went back to Orpington, forgot about the whole thing. 3-4 days later, I'm sitting in Orpington opening the Post as I do every morning. And back in the day, we had Dalton's Weekly, and there was no internet to search properties. It was Dalton's Weekly, or agents would send you property details. Mm-hmm. I've opened an envelope. I thought, that building looks familiar. I've looked closer. Molly's Cafe.
No way.
It's like, come here. I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I could not believe it. And had I not done the left and seen it the week before, it would have come, but I would have looked there, I'd have ripped it up and thrown it in the dustbin, because I wouldn't have appreciated the location where it was. Yeah? But I'm like, Huss, this is...
For sale, right?
For the lease for sale, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, Huss, this is for sale. And it said inquiries. He goes, no way. I said, it's going to be expensive. I rang up the agent. The cafe at the time was taking £1,500–2,000 a week. It was losing money. It was on for like £40,000. It was silly money. Silly money, yeah? So I said, Huss, we got to get onto this. Like, this is the opportunity. This is, honestly, it's the gem. Mm-hmm. Yeah? He backed me. He said, right, let's arrange. But whatever we do not tell Dad, because we just cost Dad a fortune on our failed project, yeah? Mm-hmm. And Dad said after that one, he said, whatever you boys do from now on, you do on your own. He said, I'm not with you. You just cost me a fortune. Mm-hmm. Yeah? All that years I've worked and made money, I'm not willing
He blames you for that, yeah.
I'm now at my retirement age. I'm not now willing to lose it for you guys, Frivol away your own money. So 40,000. I said to my brother, we can borrow this against our houses or whatever else. Somehow we can find this money. It's not a lot of money. So we've gone down there. We've literally done the deal there and then. Yeah. Now the idea, the flip. Yeah. People develop residential property houses to add value, sell on. In the restaurant game, the value of the business is determined by your takings and ultimately your expenditure, primarily your rent. So if you can get a restaurant's takings from £2,000 a week up, the more up it goes, the more valuable that restaurant becomes. So in my mind, I had, this is a 9, 10, 9 to 10,000 pound. This cafe should be taking a week from the two. Makes it a £250,000 business. 200, 220 around there. If I can do this in a short space of time, I've just turned around some nice money. Yeah. So anyway, we went in there, and again, the work hard ethic. It was opening at 6, closing at 2 in the afternoon. We kept it going. We opened it as an evening restaurant, so we had breakfast, lunch. In the evening, it was a meze bar. Turning over the money now. All of a sudden, literally within a few months, like it did not take long at all. Yeah. Within a few months, we're hitting the 9,000-10,000 pound a week. No problem at all. Yeah. So, the £40,000 that we've obviously paid out to buy the business, we've made that. We're earning money now in this cafe. So we've paid off our debt, we're earning money, and we had a walk-in, interested in buying. People come in all the time, can we buy the business, Then there was a gentleman, some family friends actually from Cyprus that had come over. They wanted to start up over here. And they came over with a bit of money and they said, would you consider selling it to us? So because it was family, whatever else, we flipped it. We sold it to them. Now we got a big lump of money. Yeah, so now we're ready to go. So
because I guess you need that capital, right? And that's when you can start playing Monopoly properly.
Of course. Like you need the money behind you, and so we've done it. We've gone from leveraging ourselves and taking money out of our houses or whatever else to raise the original £40,000 investment. Yeah, we've put it in, and we've come out with a couple of £100,000 the other side. Yeah, obviously as well, what I should say is, Dad knows this game. And he was not interested in the slightest at the outset. But then he starts turning up at the coffee shop and he's seen it's busy. And he's like, yeah, this is good, boys. Well done.
He's starting to rate it.
Well done. So what I'd say about that is, obviously, always go with your own instinct. Go with it. Don't live in regret. Because had we listened, or had we been put off by Dad's attitude or whatever else, we never would have taken that push. But the instinct inside us said, do it. Yeah? So we went with it. We done it. But then all of a sudden, Dad's like, yeah, we need a few more like this, boys. So people want to get on you, they want to be with you when you're winning all of a sudden. Yeah.
Of course, that's a standard.
100%. Yeah. When you're losing, no one wants to help you.
No one wants to
No one remembers
involved.
them. Yeah. I remember those 18 hours a day I was sitting in that restaurant with no customers and then looking up and going, I remember those like it was yesterday. Yeah, I was on my own, man. I was literally on my own. Yeah. Now I'm winning. Now everyone wants a piece of this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So then obviously you need a roadmap. You need to know where you're going. Yeah, you need to be clear from the outset where you want to get to and how you're going to get there. So I thought, at this point, we're going to stick with the restaurants, and we can flip a couple of these. But at the same time, we need to be buying the freehold to these restaurants. We don't want to be giving money out in rent. Yeah, so we've got our nice money in. Dad's just sold the restaurant down in Herne Bay. He says to me, "Come on," he said, "Let's go and hand the keys over." Do the finalisation down there. So we've gone down there, and it was in Herne Bay that restaurant flopped as well. And I was like, hallelujah, I can go to this Herne Bay and I can turn around and say bye-bye to Herne Bay for the rest of my life. I never need to go back to this place ever again. Yeah? So we've gone down there, handed the keys over. We're driving out. There's one big coffee shop on the seafront. It's been there since 1931. It's iconic to the seafront. It's been there a long time. It's the place to be. It was the business to have in Herne Bay. And as we're driving out, we stop at the zebra crossing on the seafront, and that business is just on the right as we're driving out. And Dad said, he goes, I'd only ever come back if I could buy this one business. So I said, all right, in my head. Don't forget, I want to leave Herne Bay, but I don't know what come over me at that moment in time. We're at the zebra crossing, people are crossing. I've opened my door and I've walked in there. And I've seen the owner. I know the owner because we're all in the same town. Gave him my card. I said, if you ever want to sell this business, call me. Gone back, and I thought, no more Herne Bay. So happy, honestly. Got my life back. I got a bit of money in my pocket, Next day I go to work in Orpington again, just doing my little waiter job. The phone rings.
So you were working as a waiter?
Grafting, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But do you know what? In all the years that I was a solicitor as well, Saturday, Sundays I was working as a waiter in my dad's restaurants as well. All those years, honest truth. As a trainee, even when I was working for the city firm, working as a waiter in the restaurant at weekends.
You definitely put the graft in for sure.
100%. So next day phone rings, I answer it. Hello, this is such and such from Makcaris down in Herne Bay. You came in, you gave your card yesterday. We're looking at selling. Bro,
Yesterday, literally
next day.
the next day.
This
wow.
is
I feel like you've had some
there,
blessings on the way, man.
honestly, like been there since 1931, and they decide to sell now on the day that I've handed the card in. Wow. Yeah. So right, he says, when can you come and we sit down and talk? I said to him, I'm coming now. Like,
No games.
coming. Yeah, no. So the day before, I'd said bye-bye to Herne Bay. Now I'm going back
there, yeah.
I'm going back there. Anyway, we went down there that afternoon, my dad and my brother, myself. We'd done the deal. Yeah, we'd done the deal. It was a freehold property with the business. So now we've got our money. We put that down as the deposit. We're into property. Yeah, we're into property because we put the money down. So we own the business, don't have the rent. We have a mortgage to pay, but we're rolling now. And then again, that was a business which at the time, taking a few £1,000s a week, we weaved our magic, boom, flying, doing really, really well. Yeah. I should mention, in the meantime, like even from Orpington, we tried lots of different stuff. We bought caravans, these food carts, and we were going to carnivals, and we were going to shows and selling out of
How was that?
hard work, hard work. And
profitable?
Very, very. But the problem with that is everyone always wanted to steal the caravan. So we had 2 stolen.
Overnight.
Like you leave your food trailer somewhere, you wake up the next morning, it's gone.
Stress, bro.
honestly, like you're trying so
wait, hold
hard.
on. Did we park it here?
100%. And on the second one, I'll never forget this. I had my member of staff. He was with us for years, bless him. He was in the back, but he had all the hatches down in the caravan cleaning. Yeah, he was cleaning the caravan, and they come and hooked it up, and he's in the back of the caravan.
They stole it with him in there. No,
you couldn't make this stuff up. So I was like, I can't forever, for the rest of my life, be looking for my caravan. But
this country's a magic.
Yeah, honestly,
caravans with people.
You leave your food
cart. Like, keep the van, let me out.
You leave your food cart there, and some guy comes along, hooks it on the back like it's his own property, and he's off.
Probably not getting that back ever again, isn't it?
They were gone, but it was so we tried all these little bits and pieces. We made money along the way doing that kind of stuff. So we're trying, yeah. But now we got into this main store in Herne Bay, and yeah, it's good. It's good. We've done the Tunbridge. We flipped that one. We're into Herne Bay. And so what do we do from there? We up the trade and we expand sideways. So we introduce fish and chips. We introduce this, that, and the other.
Different stores now, though. Different branches.
Well, we keep buying next door. So we started off with number 54 to 50, and then we've kind of gone
What was
round
making these people sell?
I don't know. Like,
Wasn't it profitable before you got in?
Do you know what? I know that sometimes when you're in catering for too long, as had been the case with the guys before us, you kind of lose track of it. It's hard graft, and you kind of you take your finger off the button, and then things start to slip backwards. So I think that where they had grown up in it as well, it had been passed down through generations, they just had enough. So it was just a coincidence that the time was right for us to buy, and the time was right for them to sell.
Yeah. So you're effectively owning like most of the high street at this point.
Yeah. So as the years progress, we're from 47 all the way around to 54. There's quite a few shops. So now we've got, so now that's kind of our, that's our flagship now. 47 to 54 on the seafront. Combined within there is a fish and chips. It's an ice cream parlour. It's a cafe. It also houses my office upstairs. But from this point, I'm thinking if I can get 55 as well, 55 is a 15,000 square feet unit. It's huge. It was a nightclub and a bar, a nightclub upstairs, arcade downstairs. I'm thinking long term. From the beginning, I'm thinking if I can ever get him to sell to me, now we have a mass development on our hands in the future. Yeah, because it's all old, built, and as I say, 1930s, very early 1930s. So I'm always thinking one step ahead. Yeah, and I'm thinking when I get 55, at that point, I can look at a big redevelopment that will kind of change everything. In the meantime, other properties come up in the Herne Bay area, and my tactic at the time was if I can buy everything along the seafront, then I've got no competition. If I eradicate the competition,
100%. That's you're thinking like the tech companies now.
Yeah,
that's what they do, right? They just acquire like the apps are coming up.
What is true thinking?
What's the problem? Like Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
Like just before it even, just as soon as they sniff it's getting a bit of like market share, they're like, you know what, we'll just take you on.
Take it on. Exactly.
Then you ain't even got to worry.
Exactly that.
Makes sense.
So I go for a walk one day along the seafront, and there's a big bandstand. When I say bandstand, it's a huge stage, and it has 2 units within the bandstand and a big arena. It houses over 1,000 people. One of the units was a tourist information centre, and the other was a pub. Just a full-on typical pub, plays the football on Sundays, the rowdy. And I walked through there on a Sunday, and it was like being in a football stadium full of people. It was mad. But not the kind of people that I really wanted to deal with every day. They had door security on every corner, blah, blah, blah. But I saw the people. I was like, wow. Yeah. Then a few weeks after that, go for another walk, and I see a board's gone up on the Tourist Information Centre. Unit to let, tender. So we go into
I'm confused about it. It's like so busy. Why are they wanting to sell, man? It's just like baffling.
Which one?
The pub?
No, so there are 2 units. The pub, busy. Okay. The next door was a tourist information centre owned by Canterbury City Council. So they put it up for tender. And I'm like, I saw those people. I saw the people. And I was like, this could be special, really special here. So go through the whole tender process, the interviews with the council. They choose me. Yeah, at the end of that process. I'd taken Dad down there. Dad was like, not sure. I was like, no, I can't be dealing with this negativity. Let's be positive. Yeah. We need this. I said to my brother, and God bless my brother, man. Like, he supported me on all of my decisions a lot. He's never turned around and he said to me, no, Nedge.
Has he made any?
That's a wrong move. We're very different people.
It's like...
We're very different, yeah? He can...
You're the visionary.
I'm the office man. I see things. I need to explain to him a lot of the time what I see, and then he gets it. And he's always supported everything that I've said on those lines, yeah? But I'm office-based. So I don't like to work in the restaurants. You said to me earlier, I hated every minute of working as a waiter or whatever. I hate being in the restaurants. I hate it. Yeah. Give me pen, paper, books, accounts all day long. Maybe that comes back from the lawyer background.
Yeah, it's probably kind of, yeah.
But him, if I go on holiday for 2 weeks, he won't even open the post. Yeah, he hates office space.
Okay. So that's actually a good, so it sounds to me that you recommend, so in a partnership, you think kind of having that yin yang kind of 100%. Having those opposites, right? Yeah.
We don't overstep each other. There's no cause to argue because he has his role and I have my role, and his is very separate to mine. But him in the restaurants, incredible. Like coming from the menu, the staff training, the organisation, the running of the restaurants.
Yeah, it works.
Very good.
Well.
Yeah? And I don't question that. I just let him get on with it.
Okay.
And he doesn't question my side of things. So
that's good.
That's how the partnership works.
I'm sure you've over time have had some difficult times, right? As in disagreements or at all?
No.
Wow, that's impressive.
No.
Yeah.
Over business, no. Because if he does something, I know not to question it because he's earned my
Just
respect.
Trust in it. Yeah,
he's earned my respect, and he knows not to question what I do. Because I hope. I hope so. You know. So I said to him, "We want this. We're going to get this bandstand." He said to me, "Yeah." So we go through the tender process where we're interviewed, we put forward our proposals, we get it. Boom. What a unit. Like we're turning over serious money in this unit. Yeah.
What did you turn it into?
Ice cream parlour, this one. Ice cream parlour.
And obviously you're getting all the traffic from the pub.
Got the traffic through the pub. It's just, we put forward the proposal that we're going to turn it into a family-orientated bandstand area. Yeah. The council thought we were crazy because of the kind of people that were going to the pub or whatever else. But no, like slowly they kind of whittled out and it's become a family-orientated venue. Houses 1,000 people. It's busy. Very, very good unit. Okay, so we've invested our money, but now we've got 2 businesses worth a lot of money. We also own the property of number 47 through to 54. In the meantime, we've got the pedestrianised area behind us, which is the retail area of the town. Every time anything's come up, I've bought that as well. They were cheap back then, you know. We were buying cheap, 140,000, 130,000, buying them up. So you said own half the town. We don't own half the town, but as soon as something comes up, we've been buying and accumulating.
Literally, you're playing Monopoly.
Quite literally, and accumulating.
Yeah.
You know?
Playing cool.
We've done other restaurants in the meantime. So we had one in Sittingbourne, which we've done the flip on again. So we're working hard.
So you're doing the flip. So would you say that's your main graph, though? Is like, you get it up to a certain point and you flip it, you see the value.
Originally,
are you kind of thinking longer term this can be something, or are you thinking longer term actually I can flip this?
Okay, so originally flip, but now as you get older, you realise that you can't be doing all of that running around, opening, closed, like it's hard work. Yeah. So the flip was to make the money. The money's then gone into the property. The property portfolio now starts bringing you a nice income. So you can move away from the restaurants. The long-term goal is to get out of the restaurant because it's hard work.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I guess we touched on this slightly, but how else do you feel like your criminal law background has helped in this journey? Because I do feel like maybe you hadn't even realised, but I do think it must have played a part.
Not so much the criminal law, but obviously remember I did other seats. So I did the property. So now I don't need to run to a lawyer every time I need advice. When things happen, I deal with most of it myself. So all of the company's property work, I deal with myself.
Yeah.
And just in general, everyday life, it's given you, it's wisdom, it's experience, you know. You're always learning. So I can relate back. The law, I think it's taught me being organised.
So you're not completely against education?
Definitely not against education, but I believe that education is good up until 17, 18 A levels. I think everyone should do that.
So university?
I don't believe in university.
Interesting. Even though you've benefited, right?
I only believe in university if you need a certificate at the end of it. So if you want to be a lawyer, you need that university degree. Yeah, you need it. You can't actually progress. But if you don't need that piece of paper to get you to where you want to be, I don't believe in wasting all of those years.
Of course.
My children, will they be going to university? I'm not pushing it. If they say, Dad, I want to go to university, great, son, no problem. But I won't push them. You've got to go to uni. For me, if you don't really have need for that piece of paper, why waste 4 years of your life?
Okay.
Why?
All right. So I guess because currently now we're in like pandemic, it's difficult times for a lot of people, right? If someone was to say, you know what, similar to you, this isn't for me, right? They've either lost their job and they're thinking, I don't want to go back into the city. I don't want to go back to work. Or they're thinking, you know, this isn't for me. They just want to walk away. How do you advise that they get into business? How do they raise the capital to start? But whilst they're doing that, how do they afford to pay the bills to maintain their lives?
So I had this conversation with someone on the way driving up here. Where do you start?
This very day, yeah?
Today, in the car on the way up here. And it was only because the crypto crashed today, as you may know. Yeah. And
we'll be back. We'll be back.
And so I was having a conversation with someone who he's heavily in the hospitality industry, has some incredible restaurants. And over the lockdown, he's been in crypto. And he's done very well from it. Now we've had this crash. And I spoke to him when I first got into crypto a couple of months ago. And the first thing I said to him was, cuz, don't ever forget your bread and butter. Yeah? The bread and butter, your restaurants, which have been earning you the money. The same with me. The restaurants have been earning me my money. So what I would say is you need to have that foundation from which you can develop. And the foundation that brings you the money initially, that's the key. That's the important part to all of this. So if, for example, you're an accountant or a lawyer and you don't enjoy what you're doing, you still need to be bringing in the money from that to allow you. Yeah, because you can't just go to a position where I was lucky and I admit that. I was able to come out of the law and still be able to go into a job and earn £300 a week. It was bringing something. But I could see the wider picture. I had a goal. I had a strategy from day one that this is where I wanted to get to. And luck's played a part of it, but also you make your own luck. If I wasn't out there hustling for the property redevelopment or whatever else, I never would have turned into Tunbridge High Street. Do you understand? So people will say I was lucky that piece of paper came through the post. Is that really luck?
I don't put any of it. I don't put anything down to luck. I don't even believe in luck, to be honest.
You make your own luck.
100%.
You make your own
and
luck.
And it's just blessings as well, man. Like,
you know? There's
no one going to tell me that was luck that you opened the door. Like, there's no one going to, luck isn't coming. That's your journey, man. It's a blessing. It's part of your journey. That wasn't like how it just magically happens now.
No, I believe in Tunbridge that day for a reason, on business.
Agreed.
You know? So what I'd say is make sure you have your bread and butter to sustain you. And then try. Never live with a regret. If you have an idea, go after your dream.
So you think kind of maintain that steady income, have the job or your bread and butter, and then just go over and above to build what you want on the side until you're at a point where you can fly.
There are 24 hours in a day. People that say to me, there's no time. I haven't got time. I haven't got time to work and to build a dream. I haven't got time. I haven't got time to listen to that because there are 24 hours in a day. Yeah? We have a lot of hours, but if you want to waste them sleeping or playing PlayStation or whatever it is you want to do, that's your decision. But then don't come to me and tell me there's no time. There's time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So what would you say, like, so there are a lot of skills for the people that don't go to university. What skills do they need to run a successful business that they're not going to learn in uni, right? What skills can they learn somehow? Like, what skills do you think
Number one is hard work. I think a lot of people that go to uni kind of they fall on this pretense of they're going to come out and they're going to work their 9 till 5 job, Saturday, Sunday off. Yeah, it's a lovely idea, but again, how many hours are there in a week, and how many hours is 9 till 5 days a week? What are you doing the rest of that time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you want it, go after it.
Exactly.
Go after it. You know, it's not going to be given to you on a plate. I'm sorry, but Dad came to the country thinking the pavements were lined with gold. They're not.
Honestly, I think most people abroad think London is like money town.
Yeah.
Well, in some countries, right?
It's hard work. You've got to understand. There's no get rich quick scheme. It doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's pure hard work. So if you're willing to put in the hours, graft. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you say I haven't got the money to start off, then get 2 jobs. Mm-hmm. Work daytime, work nighttime if you have to, until you're at that point where you have the funds to follow your dream. Mm-hmm. You know, and if you really want it, you'll do it. Mm-hmm. If you don't, and you just like the idea of it, it won't happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any other skills other than like hard work? I mean, because hard work's graft, right? You kind of have it. Is there something are there skills that you think people should pick up or learn on their journey before they go into business? Like, it's just, I guess it's difficult to put into words, but like, is there things that people should know? Like, actually, you should probably know this if you're going to start a business.
The strange thing is, like, when you start talking to other people, other successful people, their journeys are different. Mm-hmm. Everyone's journey is different. So I may get from A to Z one way. Mm-hmm. You may get from A to Z as well, but you go a totally different way. So you have different opinions, different viewpoints about how things should be done. Mm-hmm. You know, I would say listen. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Number one skill, to listen. Mm-hmm. Listen to people and then make your own decision. Yeah. Go with your gut, go what's best for you, because no 2 journeys are the same. Yeah. And we all have different situations in our own personal lives as well. So work out the way that suits you and take that journey. Trust in yourself, believe in yourself. Belief, I mean, huge word. Believe in yourself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then work hard to get there. No. And along the way, ask questions. There are so many people out there that want to help. Me, that's why I'm here today. Yeah. I'm not here to blow my own trumpet. I'm here because I want people to know that if they need advice, assistance, someone to talk to, get in contact with me. I'm happy to help, because to us now, okay, we've done well, but to see other people do well, especially if we've had an involvement, if I've been involved and I've been able to offer some advice,
mentorship.
That's exactly it.
Yeah,
that's exactly
that's
it.
Perfect. So I guess we spoke about this, like the failure rate, and I don't have the exact numbers, but I do think businesses in general, I did hear a stat like 1 in 100 like businesses are really successful, right? There's not that many businesses. If you look at everyone who starts a business, mm-hmm. there's a lot of businesses that fail, right? And obviously you've experienced failure, right?
Magnitude of failures.
Yeah, so multiple failures, right? But how do you deal with that failure, firstly? But in those failures, how do you figure out where you've gone wrong to ensure that you do better, right? Because otherwise, there's some people that just keep failing, doing the same things, they use the same recipe.
Yeah, but you never lose, right? You never lose.
How do you mean?
You never lose. You only learn. Failure's beautiful because failure teaches you where you've gone wrong. Failure teaches you how not to do it next time. If you quit, that's different. You may fail and quit, but then that's in you because you've quit. But when you fail, you know exactly what you've done wrong. Like, you make a mistake.
So you never really see it as a failure.
No, you make a mistake once, it's a mistake. Mm-hmm. You make the same mistake twice, you're a fool. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Because you should have learnt from the first time. Do you understand? So failures, I don't know what the exact stat is, but there is a stat that every millionaire or every billionaire has been bankrupt 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. And I think you can look at Richard Branson as the perfect example for that. You know, not every millionaire, but most, and I'm sure it's a most, millionaires or billionaires have been bankrupt several times.
Okay.
Yeah? So these people didn't quit. They didn't give up. They learned from that, and then they developed that to obviously put into their next business model. I don't believe you ever lose, bro. Honestly, you never lose.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, we're going to take a step back quickly, and then we're going to go back into some of these questions to break it up. What do you do in your spare time when you're not working? I know you said you got children.
You know, I mean, even now, I put in probably a good 12 to 14 hours a day. I'm very hands-on. Very hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of that, obviously the family. So you've got the kids and my love of football. So my children play football. 2 of them play football. One of them's determined. He's 16 years old. At the moment, I've been spending a huge amount of time with him, 16 years old, and he's got into this crypto space.
Okay, that's impressive.
So yeah, I try and instill the same ideology that my father instilled on me. I try to instill on them now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my son, as I was saying to you before the interview, I got into crypto a couple of months ago. A coin came out at that time called SafeMoon. My son came to me the following day. He said, "Dad, have you heard about SafeMoon?" I said, "Yeah." I couldn't work out how to buy it. I said to him, "Son, if you can buy it, good on you." I said to him, like, he went away, he managed to set it all up. He bought the coin and he put £200 into it. He came to me a few hours later. He said, "Dad, I've done it." I was like, "Well done, son." So I've been spending a lot of time with him on that. You know, his £200 within 2 weeks became £5,000.
Mm-hmm. Impressive.
I then told him to sell because it got a bit too risky for me.
Mm-hmm.
Had he held on to it, that coin up until a couple of days ago would have been £25,000. So he's now having a go at me. But we backwards and forwards on WhatsApp. Like, we've bought into SafeLight and Safe. You know, we're doing bits and pieces. And he has a dream. He wants to own his own hotel one day, and he wants to be a head chef. So I'm gonna, obviously I have the skills to be able to promote that. So I push him in that. The other two, football crazy. They're football crazy. So I watch them. Other one, he had a trial with a professional club only this week. So we've been putting in the graft. He's working hard for that.
So you're just but I'm talking about, so your personal, individual, like, what do you like to do? Obviously, I know you love to spend time with your family, but just like, is there like a place that you want to go and visit and just chill, or?
Do you know what? Until now, I've done very little in terms of seeing the world, because I've been so focused and so driven. It's only now that I can take a step back and say, yeah, now I would like to go and see the world. Now I would like to do this. You know, I had that average holiday here and there, but it's all been work. Okay,
that's good. Oh, so you've been grafting.
Yeah. I mean, in the midst of all of this, I've built my own house. Mm-hmm. So that was one of my dreams from a very young age. I want to build my own house. And that's another story in itself. You know, bought the plot of land, sold my house, then went home, told the wife that I've sold our house from underneath us, you know. But I could see.
You keep bringing over surprises, bro.
So many. I could see the potential in this plot of land, and I had to have it. So gone home, I bought it. Gone home, told the wife, just bought this plot of land. So where are we going to live? You know, thank God her parents allowed us to live with them. So we've moved in with the parents, and I've bought this plot of land, which when I took her to, she was mortified. It was a forest, but she was too scared to step foot inside because it was so dense of trees and everything else. But I was like, don't, just trust me on this one. Trust me. Anyway, flip that. We now have the most beautiful house.
How long did it take?
About 1.5 years. I didn't have any planning. I didn't even know I could get planning permission. I didn't know nothing. But
you took a risk.
Do you know what? What I'd like to say, and I had the same conversation yesterday with someone else here. Sometimes knowledge can be a downfall. Okay. I don't know how to explain this properly, and I hope you'll understand. But the more you know, sometimes it puts you off. If you go in with no knowledge and you don't understand what you're getting into, you can be a hell of a lot more successful sometimes. So don't overthink it. Don't ask too many questions. The more you know, the more you doubt and the more obstacles you put in your way. So I wasn't a developer. I could not understand for the life of me why no developer had bought this plot of land. You know, 1/2 acre in Keston. You could put multiple houses on this plot. Why has no one bought it? Why is it so cheap? Yeah.
How did you overcome them obstacles then? This guy's asking the question, right? Because there's obviously got to be a reason.
Legal training, background, legal back. So the reason they hadn't developed it was because it was at the time potentially undevelopable due to tree protection orders and other bits and pieces. So it wasn't a possibility. I went in with my legal knowledge, legal background, and I got around those obstacles.
So I definitely think the legal background education has definitely helped you.
100%.
What would you say success means to you?
So, success is not about the money. So you just said to me, nice cars. I own a nice car, you know, but I don't drive it. The wife drives it. Okay. Do I love cars? I have a passion for cars. Do I own a Ferrari, Lamborghini? No. You know, because for me, success is not about material things. The money in your bank account is just a number, and it's just a way For me, it's like a score. It's a way of keeping the score. Like a football game, yeah? You score 2 goals, you've done all right. If you score 5 goals, you're doing really, really well, like in a game, yeah? And that's what the bank balance is to me. It's a score. It tells me how well I'm playing the game, yeah? And that's it. It's not about material things whatsoever. For me, it's just about staying grounded, helping others, being kind, and trying to get other people to maybe where I am, you know? And allowing other people to kind of to come with you on the journey and to celebrate in your success.
Yeah, of course.
You know, ultimately, success is freedom. Yeah. What does success bring you? What do the financial gains bring you? It brings you the freedom that we spoke about at the beginning. So it takes you away from the 9 till 5, takes you away from the 14, 16, 18-hour days. Yeah. Will I ever have freedom? I don't know. Am I addicted to this way of life? Maybe. Potentially, yeah. But now with the funds in place, what I can do is I can move away from the restaurant industry, which takes all of my hours, and more into the property development industry. Yeah. So although we've been buying up restaurants, properties, blah blah blah, now I've got planning permission for a lovely development in Orpington and a huge development down in Herne Bay. The planning's come through. So I just signed a JCT agreement with a developer.
JCT, what's that? Can you
just like going into partnership with a developer.
Okay.
Because if you remember, I said to you, number 55 next door was a huge site. So if I could ever buy that, well, 2 years ago I bought that one as well. So down on the seafront, we own the entire corner, literally the entire corner we own, and the car park behind. And there's going to be a huge development there. So over the last 6 months to a year, we've been signing option agreements and lots of legal contracts, which I've been able to do myself through the legal background. And it's going to be a huge development. So the safeguard of the future of my children is safeguarded. The restaurants, at that point, I'll be able to move away from, because I'll have rental income from my current portfolio, plus these big developments that are going up now.
Cool.
You know?
So who would you say some of your role models or mentors are, like you personally, and what about them resonates?
I'm very much focused on myself in terms of I make my own decisions. Yeah, so I don't listen. I'll ask for advice. No, do you know what? I don't even ask for advice, really. I'll bring something up in a conversation and I'll listen to what other people
there's no one you kind of look to.
My dad, obviously, in the drive, the push.
And I guess it's his hard work and graft that stands out.
Yeah, and then what I do is I take gems from people as I go through life. I've learned not to talk so much, but to listen a lot more. And I take bits from lots of different people, lots of successful people. And kind of, you are who you hang around with as well, you know. I believe in keeping the circle nice and small, but the people that you obviously keep and spend your time with, make sure that they're on the same level with you, you know, and they understand you and you understand them, because you'll learn from them. It's all about learning, you know. The ears. I know we don't see it as we don't see it as the most powerful sense, but probably they are. You know, someone said to me once, when you talk, you're just repeating something you know. When you listen, you might actually learn something new. You know, and that's stuck with me. So, I listen and I take bits from lots of different places and then I apply them to my own personal situation.
Okay. So is there anyone at the moment that you would say is a good person, whether it's like online, a book, or whatever it may be, who's got like great business advice or gems that you would recommend people go to or listen to keep going?
You know what? You did an interview with Flomsy, and as crazy as it sounds, I find Flomsy inspirational in the gems that he comes up with, the way that he keeps it so real, and you know, and obviously the books he refers to, they're your Bible, they're your standard go-to Bible. You know, Who Moved My Cheese, Rich Dad Poor Dad. These are the books that you go to, and I think there are only a few of them, but they hit the nail on the head. So inspirational wise, read these books, because they will teach you where you're going. But always make your own decisions in life. You know, you fall by the sword, don't you? Yeah. But don't fall by someone else's sword.
Yeah, fair. So, but for example, people who don't go like, they don't go, say, for example, they got to A-levels, they really don't have much mentors or people to listen into. How do you think they should go about learning those business fundamentals, though? Those like the finances, the laws, the legals.
You have to be interested in what you do, yeah? So you need you need a desire and a passion to develop something into something that's going to be great. If you have no interest in it, you're never going to make it great, yeah? So sit down and work out what you personally are interested in, what you like, what you love, what gets you excited. Yeah. And once you understand what gets you excited, you can then lay down a roadmap as to how that can generate you an income. Yeah. First of all, has to come the love for the product that you're selling or the industry that you're going into. Look, I went into law. It didn't do it for me, because I was pushed into it. I came out and I made the decision that I'm going to go into property, restaurants. That was my decision. So because I made that decision myself, there was something there, and that brought the drive. Yeah. Probably if I'd loved the law before I went into it, I would have stayed in the law because it was what I enjoyed doing. But if you don't have a love and a passion for something, I just think you're going to struggle.
That's fair. So actually, I watched an interview with Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? And he said, if you want to be rich in life, there's 3 key things you need to learn, right? And he said, 1 is how to sell, 2 is how to use debt, and 3 is how to not pay taxes. What are your thoughts on that statement?
I also have a number 3.
For a 3 or a different 3?
A different 3.
Okay.
My 3 are, if you want to do well in life, you need a good lawyer, a good accountant, and a good bank manager.
Okay.
Yeah, those 3. So accountant, my number 2 is his number 3, how not to pay tax. Yeah. What were the other 2 his ones?
How to sell.
How to sell.
In your business, I guess you got to do well, right? And then how to use your debt.
How to use your debt. So
how to use debt. So basically, I'm assuming it's like lending money and turn it into a profit, right?
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I say to you, every journey is different. So different people see debt so very differently. He's talking about using debt. With me, I stay away from debt if I can. So my aim is to repay debt as quickly as I possibly can. Other people say that's a crazy way of working because use that money to invest further. Yeah, so don't pay off your debt. Get yourself into debt. Debt's not such a bad thing. It's tax deductible, blah, blah, blah. And instead of paying it off, use that money to develop your business and to grow. Yeah. With me now, I want to sleep at night. I don't want to put my head down on my pillow and be millions of pounds in debt. Yeah. So for me, it's always been about borrow, pay off quick. So that's where the work ethic comes in. Yeah. So I borrow the money on all my property ones, the tenanted, short hold tenancies, whatever else. I borrow the money, I buy them, and then how quickly can I get that paid off so that all the money that's bringing in is coming to me? I despise interest. I despise expenditure, which is unnecessary. Yeah, I want to shut it down. I want to get rid of any expenditure that's unnecessary. Yeah,
that makes complete sense.
I know it sounds greedy.
No. I do. I mean, it's just, again, it's how you are, right? I personally don't like that either. I think it's like something always hanging over you. Yeah,
so a lot of friends come to me and they say, like, we want a portfolio like yours, how can we get to a portfolio like that? And I'm like, do we go interest only? And as soon as I hear the words interest only, I shake. I shake because you're going to be paying interest for 15 years. Okay, you're relying on capital appreciation. If that goes sour, and goes the other way, you have no property at the end of all of that. And the money that you've been earning, okay, it's giving you a nice lifestyle, but really you don't own anything. What are you going to leave to your children again? There's nothing there. So buy, have less, repay, bread and butter, earn your money on a daily basis, put all of your efforts into paying off that debt. Once you've paid off that debt, all of that money is yours. Now, all of a sudden, you have an asset. You can borrow against that asset, but it's yours.
So as part of this, like, Lend Me a Fiver podcast, right, we do ask some 5 quickfire questions.
Okay.
All right, you got 10 seconds. I say that, no one's counting, but you got 10 seconds to answer them, each one.
I wasn't prepared for this.
You don't need to be. Honestly, it's the first thing that comes to your head. So, let me know when you're ready.
Go.
You're good, yeah? All right. One thing that you can't live without.
That's 10 seconds gone already. My mobile phone. Easy question. Easy.
See, if you lose that, you're game over.
Game over. It's in my bag now, and I'm thinking, it's far away. It's probably the furthest away it's ever been for me.
Fair enough. All right. One thing that you need to be successful.
Hard work ethic.
One thing that brings you happiness.
Football.
If you had one wish, what would it be?
Just health, because there's nothing better than that.
Agreed. And one thing that you would advise a younger version of yourself?
Just listen. Take it slow. Don't think you're going to make it overnight. And every time you fall over, get back up. Get back up and go harder the next time.
No,
Remember, everyone's watching.
Yeah, I love that.
Everyone's watching you. Everyone's watching your journey.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, there are more people out there. There are so many people out there waiting for you to fail. There are so many.
What is that about people, though? Why do you think that? What's going on?
Do you know what?
Why do you think people love to see that, right?
So
it's a kind of indirect competition.
Yeah, exactly. So remember I said to you, I have this addictive personality where everything I do, I need to be the best at it. I won't stop until I'm the best at it. So even now, people say to me, why don't you play golf? I can't do golf.
I'm shy at golf. But
I can't do it because if I go and have one game of golf and I can't get that ball in that silly little hole, I'm going to be out there for 20 hours every day until
that's good, but you will improve, though.
I will improve, but I haven't got the time for that now. I haven't got the time, you know?
Because actually, I do think if I was good at golf, I would love it, man. Like, some of my guys at golf, man,
it's going to take too much of my time, though. I know I'll be addicted.
They'll be out and like we'll go away on holiday, whatever. Like some destinations where you're like no one's thinking golf, and they've got the best resorts.
Yep.
We could be out till God knows, and they're at the course at 8 a.m.
I find gym very important. Like obviously for your mental health and your mental thinking, it's just that moment where you've got an hour a day all on your own. It gives you very good time to think. I believe I'm on my phone doing my business, replying to emails. That's when I get most done, which is actually when I'm in my gym.
Mm-hmm.
And written across the top of my gym.
When you say your gym, you got a home gym.
I've got a gym at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't got these words, but these are the words that I'm going to get written across the top of my gym, which is remember why you started in the first place. Yeah, just remember why, you know.
Yeah.
So every time you fall over, every time I can't be bothered to do the gym one day, I look up there and remember why I started, because I wanted whatever it was that I wanted, you know. Just always go back to that. Remember why you started and keep going, because you're gonna fall. Like no one's ever gone from zero to hero and not had disappointment along the way. It's just about how you embrace that.
Yeah, no, lovely. No, honestly, thank you, man. You've definitely dropped a number of gems, and I think the journey is inspirational, man. Like you've done a lot. I think for you to leave that job security, that comfort, that you would have done well for sure, but no doubt, just based on your personality and how well you were, the trajectory you were on, no doubt you would have done well. But for you to remove yourself and put yourself in a lesser position financially, against the odds, I think you've done pretty well. So yeah, I think kudos to you. Where can, and I know you mentioned you're open to helping people, etc. Where can people connect with you and reach out if they're starting a business or trying to open a restaurant or cafe or ice cream parlor?
So as I said to you, I'm not one of these people that is a social media guru. I don't have big followers or anything like that. I'm not I like to flick through and look at Instagram, but people can, if they want to get in contact with me, contact me through the business website, the Makcaris, which is Makcaris.
Okay. And do Makcaris have an
If they
Instagram?
go to our website and they press on the contact us button,
do they have an Instagram?
Makcaris have an Instagram as well.
All right, we'll do that.
Makcaris Gelato, Makcaris Wholesale Gelato, it's called. That's the whole. So that was another part of the business where 1931 we took over Makcaris. They made their own in-house gelato. So we thought, there's an opportunity here to create a factory. So we built a factory. We now manufacture our own
every
gelato.
Flavour.
Every flavour.
Damn, I need to come to you for some samples.
We ask people to challenge us.
Yeah.
Give us some flavours that we haven't. Wow. I don't know if you'll be able to find the flavour we haven't manufactured. But
I might have to. Yeah,
we have hotels,
some birthday parties or whatever. Get some
businesses
get
asking
some ice cream flavours in. Yeah,
specific ice creams, and that's what we're famous for. So if any
dope.
businesses need or want to be supplied by our gelato, just get in contact. Makcaris.com.
Yep. Contact
us. All the messages will come straight through to me. And then I'll reply personally from my own email, so you'll be able to get hold of me.
Yeah, awesome. That's perfect, man. And then obviously there's one last thing I got to ask, man. Can you lend me a $5?
100%. 100%. I need to ask you.
Here we go. There's a but. I need
to ask you, what are you going to do with it?
Oh, that's a good question.
What are you going to do with it?
You know, I've actually never thought about that.
If you're going to frivel it away, no.
I'll be honest. I
work too hard for that.
I'll be honest. It'll probably sit in my pocket until I have to use it for like car parking or something.
maybe not a bad day to put it into the crypto, because you can only go one way from here.
Yeah, but do you know what? I've reached a point where putting a $5 in, especially on a day like today, is it's not going to save me.
It's not going to save, no.
It's not going to save me, man. But no, thank you very much. As I said, man, I really appreciate you taking the time, especially like giving all the things you've got to do, man, the portfolio you've got, the businesses you've got to manage, and you've taken the time out to help people. I really appreciate it. I hope people appreciate it. I hope people learn something, man. I've learned something today for sure, that I can take away and literally apply it to endeavors that I want to go into, and I hope it really encourages people, man, to know that, yeah, you may think, oh, this hasn't worked out and this opportunity is not available, man, but you have to keep going, man. You've got to keep putting in that work.
Never give up, bro.
Never give up.
Never give up.
So yeah, no, thank you very much for that, man. And again, I just ask, subscribe, share it with people, man. The more people that see it, the more people that can benefit, the more people that can learn and take something away, man. But thanks very much, man.
Exactly. And any questions, just contact me, honestly.
And he's open, man. Thank you. Peace.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
What you cooking?